Norway, Scotland, Ireland, I don't know what other countries now were. Before they were silent, now they're speaking against what's happening, what Israel is doing. So one of the upsides is the issue of the Palestine and its liberation is no longer buried and left to the politicians. Now, and I'm not going to say much about politicians, I respect the pulpit and the position that I'm in, but it is now in the hands of the people. That's one of the upsides. The second upside, brothers and sisters, believe it or not, hypocrites been exposed. We felt that we have some certain allies, and those allies are nowhere to be found. But we discovered many more new allies. People from all walks of life, Christians, Jews, atheists, young and old, ex-Marines and ex-politicians. People are willing to lose their jobs because they are speaking truth to power. This lady who was a great writer in New York Times, she knew if she signed into a letter that criticized Israel, she would lose her job, and she went and she signed and she lost and she left her job. Another writer in New York Times who is Jewish signed into that letter a long list. I had to go through it. A long list of all were Jews, not in our name. We are discovering a lot of allies. This is an upside, because now it's very clear who is on the side of history, on the side of humanity, and who is not. We were fooled before. We are no longer fooled. The vision is very clear. The third, brothers and sisters, I tell you, I have young children. My children are in the 30, 31. I can tell you, they were raised in a Muslim house. I sent them to Muslim school, but it was like pulling teeth and asking them to attend a function, to participate in any sort of social justice that is on large scale. We could not activate one of the biggest force that we have, which is our young men and women. I know, I tried. And Dr. Lina in the back tried. And Brother Salam tried. We all tried. Now, they are on the ground. They are carrying the baton, and they're calling upon us to join them. You ask me this. Prior to this disaster, I will tell you that we ran out of options. We ran out of creative ideas. Now they are the one on the ground. They are the one in marches. They are the one who are calling for meetings. They are the one who are having their own meetings. They're not waiting for us. I believe this is an upside. This is a great force is added, great muscle is added to the body now, who is out there to speak truth to power. Last but not least, brothers and sisters, while I was listening to the clip, and I'm telling you that I never thought this would be the case, people are looking at Islam in a positive light. People now are looking at the Quran in a very interested way. So obviously these people are molded by their book. So let me read that book. So people are started, at least to me, these are non-Muslims, people who are aware of what's happening. Now they're looking at Islam in a very positive light, but more specifically looking into the Quran. I would call this as another upside. I am sure if you switch the channel, we should be aware of what's happening, and we should do everything possible to bring ceasefire, and to really go beyond ceasefire, and to help all the organizations and charities that they're doing the work. No doubt in my mind, we should all do that. This is our responsibility. This is the minimum we can do. In addition to it, brothers and sisters, we should go beyond the reaction to action. I believe that we, along millions of our fellow Americans from all walks of life, who their conscience is awake, who are realizing that there is something fundamentally wrong in our policies toward that region, we should walk shoulder to shoulder and walk in a peaceful way, in a loving way, because we really care. We have chosen this country to be the country for our children and our grandchildren. We want its policy to be in line with its virtues and principles of human rights, social justice, equality, and peace. We don't want the separation, the divorce between our principles and our constitution and the way our politicians are conducting our affairs and using our money. It is our responsibility, brothers and sisters, and I tell you, if you asked me 3 weeks ago, I would not have given this khutbah. I didn't feel empowered, but after seeing what I have seen in the last 2 weeks, after seeing this clip this morning, I am telling you, I am much, much more empowered, and my faith in my fellow Americans has grown significantly. And we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. And we should be cognizant and grateful to all those ones who have stood by us shoulder to shoulder and realizing that it is time for us to speak truth to power. So that's ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to purify our hearts, to strengthen our faith. We ask Allah to shower His mercy and His blessing upon the people of Gaza, the people of the West Bank. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to instill in them peace and tranquility and patience and strength. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide our politicians. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask God Almighty to guide this great nation of ours on the straight path, and we ask God Almighty to make us among those who trust Him, believe in Him, and strive for His cause.